Charles D. Ellis, The Partnership, The Making of Goldman Sachs. Dive into the intriguing history of Goldman Sachs, one of the world's leading financial institutions, in The Partnership, The Making of Goldman Sachs by Charles D. Ellis. This summary takes you on a journey from Marcus Goldman's humble beginnings as a Bavarian immigrant with no staff and little capital, through generations of family leadership and touching upon the ups and downs the company has faced. Discover how Goldman Sachs revolutionized the investment banking industry, the importance of ethics and client service, and the firm's ability to weather economic storms.
The rise and fall of Goldman Sachs. Marcus Goldman, a Bavarian immigrant, started his own business by purchasing and selling mercantile promissory notes. Over time, his business became the nation's largest dealer in commercial paper, and by the 1890s had entered investment banking. With an eye for redefining and reinventing their business, Goldman Sachs entered a mutually beneficial partnership with Lehman Brothers. However, World War I led to a downturn in their relationship, and with America's entry into the war, Goldman resigned, withdrawing his capital and creating a rift that still exists between the Sachs and Goldman families. Goldman's departure ended the firm's lucrative partnership with Lehman Brothers. The Depression and World War II proved to be tough challenges for the company. In 1927, the firm brought in Sidney Weinberg as partner. Hungry for growth, the firm created the Goldman Sachs Trading Corporation, which led them to invest heavily in the American Trust Company of San Francisco, ultimately leading to one of the century's biggest financial disasters. Weinberg was tasked with restoring the firm's financial stability and good name. The legacy of Weinberg at Goldman Sachs. Born and raised in Brooklyn, John Weinberg possessed a streetwise intellect and shrewd business sense that set the foundation for Goldman Sachs's growth in the 20th century. Emphasizing integrity, honesty, and exceptional customer service, Weinberg maintained legendary interpersonal skills and made invaluable relationships with high-profile clients like Ford and General Electric. His determination paid off when he orchestrated the then-largest IPO in history, which opened doors for Goldman Sachs to become one of Wall Street's most esteemed underwriters. Despite not benefiting much from the Ford deal, Weinberg's leadership brought Goldman Sachs to the forefront of the financial industry, and his recruitment of top-notch talent contributed to the firm's continued success. The unstoppable work ethic of Goldman Sachs' former CEO. The book discusses the life and career of Sid Levy, former chairman of the New York Stock Exchange and managing partner of Goldman Sachs. Known for his exceptional mathematical abilities and tireless work ethic, Levy transformed the firm's reputation by spearheading its entry into the block trading business. Despite his tough exterior, Levy remained loyal to his employees and led by example, arriving at work at 7 a.m. and returning phone calls until midnight. His dedication to philanthropy was equally remarkable, as he served as an outside director for numerous corporations and donated generously to charity. Levy's work ethic became the model for Goldman Sachs employees, who took pride in being driven to succeed like him. However, he was also opposed by senior management who preferred a focus on investment banking over trading. Levy's story serves as a testament to the importance of hard work, perseverance, and loyalty. Goldman Sachs, a story of crisis and reputation restoration. In 1970, Goldman Sachs faced a devastating loss when Penn Central, a major client, declared bankruptcy and sparked a lawsuit for $87 million. The firm was accused of failing to conduct due diligence and inform investors of the real value of Penn Central. Despite losing around $30 million and facing negative publicity, Goldman Sachs bounced back by agreeing to an SEC consent decree that regulated its future dealings in commercial paper and restored its reputation. The Goldman Sachs tradition. Goldman Sachs established a culture of exceptional client service and teamwork in the 1950s under the leadership of Ray Young. Known for his loyalty and straightforward approach, Young fostered an environment where salespeople were paid well and prospective hires were rigorously interviewed. In the 1970s, the company began an intensive training program to test employee commitment and improve sales skills. These efforts paid off, as Goldman Sachs emerged as a leading broker for many corporations. The book argues that steady pursuit of core beliefs, rather than dramatic events, drives significant organizational change. The Goldman Sachs Revolution. Learn how Goldman Sachs made a groundbreaking shift in investment banking with the creation of its new investment banking services unit. Goldman Sachs revolutionized the conservative banking industry by changing its strategy and structure, which was not an easy feat. They decided to divide their employees into two categories, soliciting business and managing relationships, and focusing on transactions. Though most of the bigwigs found this idea repugnant, John Whitehead proceeded with the plan, creating the new investment banking services unit. The plan was refined over the years to make Goldman Sachs the world's best solutions provider. The new approach paid off handsomely, with an addition of 500 new clients between 1979 and 1984, which made its competitors recognize the new approach. Whitehead made Goldman Sachs practically untouchable by organizing and executing while rewarding his employees' achievements. After Levy died, the company was managed by Sidney's son John Weinberg and John Whitehead. Whitehead's successful 38-year career with Goldman Sachs ended in 1985 when he became U.S. Deputy Secretary of State under George Shultz. Goldman Sachs Core Values. In the late 70s, John Whitehead compiled a list of ethics known as the Principles. The list highlighted Goldman Sachs' fundamental values, emphasizing teamwork, customer service, and professional excellence. Additionally, the code advocated for recruiting and hiring only the most talented employees and striving to increase business while still treating competition and colleagues with fairness and respect. Today, the principles endure with minor changes for political correctness. While not every principle was written down, each employee recognized the importance of personal responsibility and understood that making money was the first objective. Goldman Sachs tradition. Whitehead and Weinberg, the two John executives of Goldman Sachs, shared similar ideologies and successfully ran the firm together without power struggles. They made decisions based on sound strategies, such as not leasing space in the World Trade Center before it was destroyed. Their principle of making money without exceptions trumped prestige. The tradition of hiring and retaining only the best has been established, bringing Goldman Sachs to new heights. The Goldman Sachs alumni influence. Former Goldman Sachs CEOs such as Henry Paulson and Robert Rubin, who later served as U.S. Treasury secretaries, have influenced the government significantly. Despite turning down a merge proposal, Paulson oversaw the IPO in 1999 and avoided losses during the subprime mortgage crisis under Lloyd Blankfein's leadership. According to the author, Goldman Sachs alumni prioritize philanthropy in public service more than any other group. In 2008, the company successfully transitioned to a bank holding company and remained profitable.
As CharlesDEllis reveals in The Partnership, Goldman Sachs has had an impressive history, emerging from its founder's small, inconspicuous business to being an investment banking heavyweight. Along the way, the company has faced numerous setbacks, such as the fallout from the Penn Central bankruptcy and participation in the Goldman Sachs Trading Corporation, which led to significant financial losses. Yet, through it all, the firm has recovered and grown with remarkable resilience, credited to strong leadership, a focus on client service, and a commitment to hiring and retaining the best talent. Today, under CEO Lloyd Blankfein, Goldman Sachs continues to stay ahead of the game, evolving to meet the ever-changing demands of the financial landscape.